right, just have to make sure we're not muted on there. And now, we are going live on Facebook. Welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations. Today, featuring Mandy.
Hi.
All right, so Mandy Mccullough, for those of you who don't know her already, is part owner?
I am the owner.
The owner, sorry, of the Vegan Hippie Chick.
I am the Vegan Hippie Chick.
She is the okay. So I was not wrong in assuming. I was like, I wonder if she is, but like, okay, that's awesome. That really is. Forgive me for those of you who are seeing my face right now. I am just trying to tag somebody.
Tagging my husband.
Yes, the good sir, Paul, partner in crime.
Yes, always.
Awesome. Come on. Hold on a second. Oh no, it won't turn that way. Let's see. There we go. Boom. All right.
You found him?
I found him. That was the struggle of a lifetime. I said I was going to tag him, and I'm like, okay, let's start the show. Snap, I didn't tag him. Okay, now I tagged him. I think that's him right there.
Hi, Chloe.
All right. Hello, Wifeinger. And for everybody else tuning in at a later time, this is Candid Conversations. Y'all probably just got a good view up my nose. Hopefully it wasn't too bad for too long. But we're here to discuss, not my olfactory senses, but just life in general, you know what I mean? From a different angle now, because I have yet to host a vegan.
Perfect month to be hosting a vegan on your show. It is Veganuary right now.
Veganuary, wow, okay. I already learned something new and she just started talking. All right, so Veganuary, when did, enlighten me about this whole...
I think this started a few years ago. Just it's fairly new, Veganuary. I'm still learning about Veganuary, but I guess people go vegan for the month of January.
All right.
So, or they try it out or test the waters, I guess.
Okay. All right. That's a good. It's good to be open-minded, and that's what I mentioned in my post. I said, like, you can learn something you never knew before if you're open-minded to the approach. A lot of people are just like, I'm not gonna convert.
Yes, a lot of people are very, they hear the word vegan and they're nope, not interested.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but it's food. Like, you've never had an Oreo cookie before. Come on now.
Now, do the cinnamon bun ones count?
Yeah, all Oreos
Oh
are
my gosh, I
essentially vegan. So.
That is great. That is good. So I have tried a vegan dish. Okay. No, honestly, speaking of vegan dishes, and I'm going to say it again, your battered mushrooms are awesome. I've had battered mushrooms from all over the place. It's one of the things that we get whenever we go to, like, the bars and the pubs and stuff like that. And it was just, they were amazing.
Awesome.
So,
awesome. I like to hear that.
Yeah. So, like, for those of you who don't realize, there are things that we do eat that you actually can get at the restaurant. So, how did this start? How did this venture start?
Oh, gosh, that's quite a story. How much time do we have?
Well,
quite a few years ago, in a nutshell, I was sick, wasn't sure what was wrong, so I kind of went on like a whole holistic journey to try to figure out how to feel better about myself, and I started changing my diet and started bringing on a plant-based diet, and I couldn't have dairy anymore and like red meat for inflammation, so it became, well, I might as well just go vegan, and I went, and then I started, actually Heidi, one of my servers at the restaurant, her and I started a business together.
okay.
Not really sure. We kind of wanted to open up, I guess it was like a retreat, wanted to do like yoga retreats with like meditation and yoga and vegan eating and like just all like holistic kind of thing. And so we started doing markets, and we were 2 vegan hippie chicks at the time.
Okay.
And so we started going to markets, but what are you going to sell at a market? Like you're paying to be there, you have to make some money back. So we started doing food because that was always that's my background is food.
Okay.
So, and then of just, it organically just took off, and I started doing more and more markets and catering, and then I was renting kitchens, and that was a nightmare. So I had to get my own kitchen, and I found this little cafe in Welland, and I thought all I could do is make $50 a day to survive there, just to have my own kitchen, and I couldn't maintain it. It was we had lineups at the door, right, starting at November, so we got the location we're in now, and it's just taken flight. So.
Oh my goodness, yeah, 91 East Main Street. For those of you who don't know, now the thing that I really like about your place is that you also cater to the arts.
Yes, I guess I'm very community based. I believe in like everybody's got something to bring to the table, and food is an art. It is. I
culinary.
Yes, cooking is an art, and I've always been very creative, and I like to support people who are doing their thing and they're following their dreams. I feel like I have been given this great gift to live my dreams. I get to do what I've dreamt of doing since I was a small child, and I want to do whatever I can to help other people at least be recognized or something. So yeah, we showcase art in the restaurant, and we bring in the music.
Yes.
And I just whatever I can do to help in the community.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of performing a few times.
Yes.
The first time, I have to be honest with you, the first time I was a little hesitant because I was just like, oh no, they're going to scrutinize me because I eat meat. But it was, honestly, it still is one of the most welcome atmospheres that I've been to in the region. And I've been to a few different places. Like when I walk in, it's almost like, it gives me that Cheers kind of vibe where like everybody knows your name kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so...
good.
You know, I've gone in there a couple of times just to watch people perform, and they're like, "Are you gonna perform?" It's like, well, I guess I am now that you asked.
That's what I love about, especially like the Ryan Lunch.
Yes, shout out to the Lund crew.
Yes, amazing crew. I actually, this whole music thing that's come into the restaurant, I've met some of the most incredible people in the Niagara region that has blown my mind, and I just love when Ryan comes out on Mondays and he's got his set people performing, but always by the end of the night, more and more people show up with guitars or whatever, and they perform, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever.
The stacks of guitars that I've seen, like the cases, like artists trying to get the guitar case playing, like picking it up is like, no, it's not mine. That one, this one right here, and the other thing too, like the camaraderie, because they'll trade instruments if, like, instead of taking out one, well, we might as well save some loading time and just play with the one that's already connected, and people are good about that.
Yeah. It's like a family. It really is.
Yes.
It's really a beautiful thing that's just built up.
Yeah. And how long have you been there?
We're in March. It'll be our second anniversary.
All right. Are you planning anything for
Yes, I'm hoping to do something. I'd like to kind of do like a week long, like every day of the week, our first week of March, do something really good. I've been talking to Rob and about Rob Repos about doing something good.
Repos.
Yes. I mean, really, the music thing wouldn't have even started if it wasn't for him. I mean, he came in for lunch one day or a quick bite to eat and a beer, and I kind of came at him and said, "Hey, Rob, what do you think about having like open mic or something? I want to have some music in the restaurant." And he said, "Oh, let me get back to you on that one," and because he kind of wanted to steer away from the open mic, and he approached me about the singer-songwriter nights that he does on Thursdays at 8 till 10. And it's been, almost a year now, and it's been a huge success.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just the incredible people that I would have met you because I wouldn't have met Ryan and Jill and the Milan crew had it not been for Rob and his...
Yeah, and I've had the chance to, like, play at a couple of his shows, and, yeah, he's a very good entertainer.
He's
and
an
host.
Amazing person. He has the biggest heart of life. Like, he's amazing, and he's talented.
My gosh, like the soul he has.
Right?
Because I heard him, like the first time I think I ever heard him play was at Borderline. But when I heard him at the Vegan Hippie Chick, I was like, wow, that brother's got some soul.
Right.
Like,
I think with whatever he has brought to the VHC, he's it's that like that's I kind of let that be Rob's baby. He has full control of that, and I just kind of go, you do you. I really don't even know who's performing each week until the week of, and
really? Okay.
I'm really okay with it because I've never been disappointed, and I doubt I ever will be. So.
Like, you've hosted the likes of Probable Fog, the Midnight Suns, Mike. Oh my gosh, MJB. Michael James Blake?
Yes. Oh,
yes.
Matthew James Blake.
Matthew James Blake.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
I always, it's so funny because he usually plays first on the Thursdays, and I'm stuck in the kitchen until the second act comes on.
Okay.
So I finally got to actually see him perform, and my mind was blown away. I couldn't. But the talent that's come in there every week, I'm just in awe. Like, we have, like this week, we've got Blake coming in, and, what's his name? Oh, they're really great. Both of them are great. Blake has been before. Actually, both of them have been before. And then I just can't even. People that come in there.
It's honestly, you're in for a good show and some good food if you stop by the VHC. We're talking to Mandy Mccullough from the Vegan Hippie Chick. Actually, the Vegan Hippie Chick. we're hosting here today. Now let's dive into some random questions. I got these questions from my brother who I didn't realize watched my show. We came down for Christmas. He's like, here. I'm like, what's this? He's like, there's some talking points. I'm like, what do you mean talking points? He's like, for your podcast? I'm like, oh, right.
So, the game a little bit, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Jeez. I saw the top of this one and I was just like, oh no, because she's like 7 weeks short of this. But is 10 years old too young to own a mobile phone?
10 years, I think so. I mean, I have 2 kids.
Okay.
But one 21 and one going to be 14. We just gave my 13-year-old when he was 13 a phone. So, and it was only because we could not get a hold of him. He would go to his friend's house and he'd be like, "You have tutoring. Where are you?" So it was only for that matter. But I think that kids need to be a little bit more disconnected. They're too. I don't know. It's just my opinion. But I think
no, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm just sitting here like, would you believe my daughter has had a phone since she was like, I want to say 6.
Well, I mean, like, I think every parent knows their kid best, right? Yeah. So I didn't want my kids to have one at a younger age.
And I can appreciate your reasoning. Like, for us, it was kind of different. Like, I don't know, because, like, we put different, like, programs on there, and we didn't connect it to the internet.
Yeah.
So, like, the games that were on there were educational games that she was learning and things like that. Yet she, like, does have to disconnect from it from time to time in order to, like, flush all of the flashing lights and everything out. But I think because she was the only one, and, like, we had one, and we had an extra one, it was just like, okay, here, you can use it under this condition.
Yeah.
And then, like, the conditions got a little bit different as she grew, and then I think it was just last year that we connected it so she could talk to her family.
Oh, okay.
So, but she can't bring it out of the if she brings it out of the house, it's only with us, and, like, we're teaching her how to use it more effectively because there's a lot of people who misuse those kinds of things. And, like, I've on Daddy Daughter Time, one of our podcasts, she found something that I can't lie was hilarious, but it was just like, you're 9. This should not be funny to you.
I feel like it does, like the social media and stuff like that definitely desensitizes people a lot, and I feel like people can be cruel. Like, they hide behind a keyboard. They become like those keyboard warriors, and they hide behind it, and they judge and they bash others, and where they probably wouldn't do that in real life. So it's tough. It's tough when it's your kids. I think you have to. I mean, there's really, when it comes to children, the only people who can decide for children are their parents, because you know your kids. I know my boys, and I know that they're like vidiots, is like I like to call them. All they do is play video games all day long. My husband wants to run them over with a lawnmower. It's like his dream.
Oh my gosh.
But Yeah, so we just didn't want them to have them. Like I think, like even Devin, my oldest son, didn't get his until he was in high school. So.
Oh yeah, I didn't have my own phone until like my personal phone. I think the first one I bought, I was like 20 something.
Oh yeah, like that was like me, but we're I think a different
generation
age.
entirely.
Sure.
Yeah.
I remember when we still had like flip phones and like you remember
God,
the old phone, the big
the brick phone,
or the one that had the snake game on it.
Yes, the Nokia.
Yeah.
Yep. Those are classic phones. That phone was like the phone. Now it's like it has to have this.
It's like I have Snake. I am so cool right now.
Yeah, because most phones were just the straight up like 13 buttons.
Yeah.
The numbers, talk, end.
And then
menu.
when you try to text, you'd have to like hit the number several times to get the letter.
Oh my gosh, that was such a pain in the ass. And it was like
It's so good now.
LCD screen. They don't
They
don't know. Like that's why she's still on the Wii. Like she had to graduate to the PlayStation 3. I said, no, you can start on the GameCube.
Yeah.
You're not. No, we don't need the Wii. We don't need the Switch yet. GameCube, Wii, then maybe the Wii U, unless I decide. Like, no, you gotta go through you gotta go through the motions to understand and to appreciate some of these things. And that's, I try to. That's why I have like an 8-track player in my studio.
That's fantastic.
You know what I mean? It's just like music came like this technology all started from something. So it's just like the kids. They all started, they develop, and they absorb what they hear. Oh my gosh, do they absorb what they hear?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, like. What at the end of the day, it really, you're right. It is up to the individual parent to determine what their child does, and like, they have to. Like, I'm not gonna go into someone else's house and tell them how to run it.
No,
like, America needs to stop doing that. But
yeah, America.
You know what I mean? But that's just what it is. And like, but I like to learn from other people how they do in order to see. Okay, well, maybe I could do this. It's like, well, it's too late not to give it to her, but.
Right.
You know what I mean? But no, she had to earn it, and she has to like if she doesn't use it properly, then it gets taken away from her. So.
Yeah, you can also teach them like values and stuff. Like, hey, you do your chores or whatever, or you use your time with it. I seen a thing about that. I thought it was genius. I wish I had known it when my kids were a little bit younger. And it was like they earn time to play on their games or TV time or something by doing chores. Instead of giving them money, they get time. Like time to do the things that they love, like those games and stuff. And I thought, how great is that? I mean, mind you though, I think an allowance is great because it teaches them like the value of earning $1. But,
yes. Yes. We actually, way back, I say way back, but when I was in elementary school, actually, we had one teacher that did that. That depending on how well you did in the classroom, you got a certain amount of time, and then you could use that time to go do extracurricular activities that didn't involve the general workload for the day. But you had to actually complete a certain amount of tasks before you could apply for that. But it was, he was one of my favorite teachers. He's probably one of the reasons I'm so sarcastic. But, oh my gosh, he was like, I remember this one math question. It's like, okay, he asked me, I don't remember the exact equation, but he said, where do I put this number? And I said, you put it on top of the other number. So he literally wrote it over top of the other number. I'm like, okay, you write it above the other number. And he's like, oh, you're starting to get it now. Yes, I do. Oh man, but yeah, okay. Let's feel free to pick one.
Am I gonna ask you a question now?
Yes.
Just ask you one.
Yeah.
Social media has made us feel more isolated than ever. Do you agree?
Ooh. I don't. I feel like we can reach further with social media, but the reach is limited to the intent of the individual.
Yeah, and I think how people receive criticism, because everybody wants to criticize each other.
Don't they?
Right? So I think that, I think we're all guilty of getting caught up in the negativity of it, and it's a matter of being able to pull yourself out of it. I know I've had to myself. I've like deactivated my Facebook a few times. I got kind of tired of the negative stuff. But then you just have to kind of go, do I really care what if somebody's sitting and wallowing in negativity? Is that me? That's a you thing, not a me thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, not my monkeys, not my circus.
Right?
I sometimes, and that's what I have to tell myself. I'll be scrolling through my timeline and just like, in that sense, like I reserve myself. Like I'll scroll through it, I'll see some drama, some garbage drama. It's like, okay, you know what? It's not my monkeys, not my circus. I put it in my way. You know what I mean? And then I start shows like this in order to show people, hey, there are intellectual elements to social media where we can, learn something about what's happening in life and possibly improve the quality of ours. So yeah, I
think the beauty of like humanity is, when we each all have a different opinion and a different idea, and we bring it to the table and we can have a conversation about it, and not get offended and angry about it. Like understanding that we're all going to see things differently. We're all going to feel differently about everything, and nobody is better at life than anyone else. I mean, we're all just trying to live our best life and trying to be happy and do the best we can. So, maybe we should spend some more time focusing on our own issues than like raging on others on social media because we don't agree with them.
Oh my gosh, preach, preach! It's so simple. It's like, why not? I ask people all the time. It's like, okay, you see me post something that you disagree with, and you want to drag me because of it.
Down the rabbit hole.
But I post something that is positive that you can share, and you don't comment.
No. They just want to go. People feed on the negative. That's why they feed on that. They need it. They need to see other people doing not well, or maybe sometimes, like, I don't know, I post stuff sometimes and it's just because I like the post, or I can relate to it in some way, and then somebody sees it and they just automatically assume that maybe it's about them, and then they get that's directed at me, and it's like, well, no, nothing is ever that I post on my Facebook. Anyways, for me, myself, I post everything for myself. That's my page. It's not, if you're viewing it and you want to see it, that's fine, but it's not directed at anyone.
Yeah, it's like I saw this. Was it Samuel L. Jackson? It's like if it wasn't about you, but if you want to put that shoe on and wear it, then by all means,
right?
It's like
maybe it's something you have to consider in your life.
Yeah,
you need to work on.
When my dad told me the problems you find with others are the ones you have with yourself, I stopped finding problems with other people.
That is genius. I like that.
I was just like, wait a minute, hold on a second. You're telling me that but no, it makes sense, but I can't argue with it. No, like that's not how this is supposed to go. I'm the mouthy kid, you're the adult. Like, no, but he's right, and I found that. That's why I look at myself in the mirror, and it's just like, okay, no fault finding, no nothing, no problems, no bats in the cave. All right, cool. No salt in the eye. All right, excellent. On my way.
Right?
Like I greet people. Oh my gosh, I'm bad for this. I'm terrible for this. I will greet people like walking down a stretch of like I'll see 50 people and I'll have to greet at least 17 of them.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean that's wonderful. Like that's what I meant to say. I don't know why I said terrible. That's wonderful though. Like I think that needs to be more of that. Like just acknowledging other people. Hi, how are you? Like, how are you doing? And honestly, that's like a simple little tiny act of kindness, and it goes a long way. Sometimes just, looking over at somebody and you see that they look, maybe they're kind of miserable looking or something, just giving them a smile, and, that can change the whole course of their day.
Yep.
And it's just one tiny little simple act. It's that whole, and you start a whole snowball effect on it.
Yeah, I remember I was out with a friend, and there was someone walking really fast. I was just like, okay. I started walking backwards just as fast as the person was walking, talking to them as fast as they were walking. It's like, okay, now I got to go this way now. And like, at first they kind of had like a little bit of a scowl on their face, but by the time I left the conversation, they were actually like, this person really took the time to talk to me, and I was in such a rush. Okay.
Yeah. And then, who knows? Maybe they did something nice for the next person they ran into or something, It's like that pay it forward, you go in the Tim Hortons lineup and you buy your tea and then you buy the person behind you's coffee. And it's just like, it's a snowball effect for them because now they've had this act of kindness and then they go and they do something else and so on and so on. And before you know it, we're all doing something kind for each other.
It's such a good feeling to know, and that's what I always try to do. I always try to do something each day that, is good for somebody. And I don't want to get preachy about it, but, it's like if every person did one good thing for somebody else, the snowball effect would be so resounding that we might actually have the effect of the necessary change.
Yes.
But
that's what this world needs, for sure.
Yes, indeed.
A little bit more humanity.
And it doesn't take much.
No. Compassion.
I saw this woman an elderly woman walking across the street today, and I almost threw my car sideways in traffic to stop them. But I was just like, I just slowed down, and everybody slowed down behind me, and then I could only pray from there because the other side of the traffic was still going, but they actually did slow down for it. It's just like, okay, there's actually conscious, considerate people, because some people would just try to speed past or something like that. It's just like, wow, I don't know. That's just kind of life. So, VHC, what can we look forward to happening at the VHC in the coming weeks?
Well, so we're open Sundays now.
Really?
Which is, this past Sunday was our first Sunday open. So we're open 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Just our regular menu. We've tried to open before doing brunch, but it just got to be a lot for me, so I didn't want to do it. But now we have such incredible staff, so it works out. I'm so lucky. I think I have the best staff in Welland for sure.
That is cool.
My staff is pretty bomb. But yeah, so we've started opening on Sundays, and we had a pretty successful first Sunday, so we're pretty excited about that. So, and then we have our Thursdays with Rob. We're hoping that Ryan Lund will come back in the new year again and do a few shows here and there with us, and then we're gonna have comedy night starting again. I think this week with Greg Benito.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's going to be coming in and doing his comedy again on Saturday night. So.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Nice. Sounds like a good lineup there.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it. We try to keep the entertainment free for our guests too, so they can come in and enjoy it. I mean, they're coming in and having a meal or a cocktail or whatever, and then they're just getting a night out and they get to enjoy it. It's not really breaking their bank. So that was the idea, that we can bring some sort of entertainment into downtown Welland and just bring people downtown. And Welland is a beautiful little city, and it's downtown is just such a, I love it. I hope that it grows and some more businesses come in and we get a little bit more of a happening area down there, because it has so much potential.
It does. It really does. I see. I moved here going on 8 years ago. And I see it different than some of the people that have been here for longer. It's like and I've spoken to quite a few people who have a perspective on the city that isn't as becoming as the city has I've taken to. You know what I mean? I see a difference at you see the trails and you see the water, the canal, and you can talk to just
bridge.
about the bridge.
Talk about the bridge.
I mean,
especially when it's lit up.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful.
You can talk to just about anybody out here about just about anything. It's just, if anything, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it because it's candid conversations. It's the politics. Mm-hmm. It's just, that's what it is. So,
it's unfortunate.
It is. It really is. Because, there's...
It looks like we've got some, younger people coming into, council and stuff, and that really have some, some passion for the city to see it evolve and become more. So hopefully they're able to bring a little bit more to the table.
That would be nice. That would definitely be nice to see, because, there's just so much potential for this city. There's still so much open land that can be developed.
So many empty buildings too downtown. It's it's almost sad to see. It's just they could be filled up. I'd love to see, like, you go down. I know Toronto's a little bit of a different. It's its own little world, but you go down downtown, and there's like pubs and restaurants and little eateries and things all lined up in a row, and they're always busy because it just brings people. They come there, they know that they can go here or do little pub crawls or whatever.
Yeah.
It would be so fantastic to have a few more spaces downtown where people can experience more, and it brings more people down to the city. And I've been I talk to Mateo a lot.
Take the microphone. Yeah, technical difficulties.
Like Mateo, who owns the pizzeria Mateo's, him and I have become very friendly, and we talk about ways that we can work together to try to bring more to downtown. I think it's working together and trying to make the whole city more downtown vibey.
Yeah, it's like the potential's there. You just gotta, as long as you keep what you're doing going, like I think other businesses will come along suit and start to develop with the ideology of having performances in there, and then
there's just so much talent out here.
So much talent.
It's unreal.
I mean, I alone in the last, I want to say 2 months, have had 2 Niagara Music Award winners. No, in the last 3 months, 2 Niagara Music Award winners, 2 nominees, and I'm on the project with one, and I'm working on a project with another winner.
That's
so
amazing.
It's like, wow, and
I was very honored to be able to attend the Niagara Music Awards this year. We were invited by the Lund Crew, which was fantastic, and it was such a great night, and it was just such an honor to be in the same room and in the presence of so many talented people.
It was so it was such luster.
Yeah.
And nobody and I didn't find anybody to be to have their nose in the air.
No,
like
it was everybody was so warm and welcoming.
Yes.
And it was just such a great night.
It was totally divine. I can't wait till the next one. I'm going to see if I can start a streak here. See if I have a thing with streaks. I've been on the phone with the office of the premier for, I want to say the last 8 years, every week at least once. And I welcome people to voice their concerns about any community developments with their members of parliament and members of provincial parliament, because you can't say the system doesn't work if you're not working the system.
Right.
It's only been there's so much change that has occurred in a relatively short period of time when you look at how politics work, and I just I want to say to anybody out there who thinks something needs to change, just take it up with the people who can change it, and you're one of them. You know what I mean? So you just gotta speak up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll try another one of these questions here. Let's see if it stumps me.
So cute little cards.
Security cameras are an invasion of privacy. As we're sitting here live on Facebook.
Live, and I've got them all over in the restaurants, outside and inside.
Oh, now you know how I felt with the cell phone question.
I guess it depends on how you feel about it. I don't know. I know I got, so a few months back, in the summertime, we had a gentleman come into the restaurant and ordered 2 beers and skipped out on my server. And we had him on camera, and I put it on social media. And I had a lot of I had some backlash from people that knew who the guy was. But I, and it was actually, I got called out because I was vegan. Oh, you're vegan. That's the problem with you vegans is you're sensitive to animals, but not to humans. And I thought,
wow.
Well, the man stole from me. And my thought was, it was just 2 beers. And if he came in and he was hungry and needed to be and was down on his luck and wanted some food, I would have fed him without even a thought in my mind. But he sat there and had 2 beers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
Like, nobody needs that.
No.
And then, what if he went to the next bar or the next restaurant and just kept doing this? And from what I learned, because I have friends who are police officers and stuff, and they knew who he was, and this wasn't his first time doing it. So it's not like this was an isolated thing.
Okay.
So I feel like they can be okay, but I mean, if you're gonna do something stupid, probably be more mindful that there might be cameras watching you, and don't be such an idiot.
Yeah, definitely. Like, who?
Who does that?
Who does that for
like,
real?
I mean, honestly, if somebody came into the restaurant and was like, Mandy, I'm starving. Can you help me out? Like, I mean, I care about people, and I don't want to see anybody without or anything. And if I can do anything for people, I will. But there's a big difference between giving somebody a meal or giving somebody free beer.
It's one, like, the way I see it for me is like, if I and okay, this has happened to me, and I called him out when it happened, so I don't even mind discussing it on here. If I serve you food before I serve myself, and then serve myself, and you take off my plate, that's a problem.
It's like biting the hand that feeds you.
Yes, and that's what they did. They came, they got something they didn't need. You know what I mean? And then they skipped out. That is. So what was the resolution? Did he end up getting penalized or anything like that?
I don't know. I'm not sure if somebody came in and paid the bill. Honestly, it wasn't about paying the bill. It wasn't about. It was the principle behind it. It wasn't about the money. I mean, it's 2 beers. It wasn't like my bank was broken by any means. It was the principle behind it. I never did remove the post. I left it up there because I wasn't going to remove it, because the principle is that he needs to be held accountable for his actions.
Yes.
And a lot of the argument was that he, like, this is ruining a family and stuff. And I'm like, but this isn't me ruining it. I didn't do anything. I didn't make those decisions.
You
made those decisions.
Exactly.
So he needs to be held accountable. It's just like if you go and you shoot somebody, or you commit a crime or a felony, like, you need to be held accountable for your actions.
You do.
I mean, there's consequences to your actions. So
not too many people realize that. They just like to do, and then they'll do, and then when something happens to them, it's like, oh no, why did that happen to me? Well, karma, first of all.
I think because we live in a society where we don't hold people accountable when they do things wrong, or I don't know. I think it's even more than that, because we try to hold people accountable for things that are trivial, but then we don't hold them accountable for things that really they should be held accountable for. If that.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. It's like, oh my gosh, I've seen situations where I have to look at the person and be like, you did that, right?
You're aware that you did that.
I'm not sure I'm not sure you realize, because what you did didn't make sense to me, and you did it anyway. So I'm just letting you know you did that, and you might not want to do it again because the results aren't that great. I'm just. It's like a friend of mine referred to me in an effeminate way. What up? He knows who he is. I said, don't refer to me like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be the first to admit I'm in touch with my feminine side, but at the same time, I'm not an effeminate male. You know what I mean?
Wrong with that.
And like, he tried it with me again, and I just said no. And then someone tried it with me in front of him. Someone who didn't know what I had said to him tried it with me, and I showed the first guy, how I deal with people I don't know.
Yeah.
Where they deal with me in that manner. It's just like, he looked at me like, oh,
I get it now.
I get it now. You know what I mean? But, like, everybody has those friends that push their buttons. Sometimes, like, I just got to look at it. I try to look at it from the perspective of, like, iron sharpening iron. In a sense, like, they're just trying to build my character, build my integrity.
Character, yes.
Yeah, but, like, there's certain lines I don't cross, because it's just, there's no point, really. It doesn't end up good, and then people start to feel.
I feel like there's helping your friends build character, and then there's being harmful to your friends. So there's a difference. There's kind of like a fine line there. So if you're being harmful to somebody, just being mindful to not, like, I'm going to do this. Is this going to hurt this person, or is it going to benefit them?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Okay. Oh boy.
Am I pulling another card?
Yes.
I like the first word on this one.
Yeah.
Food high in fat should come with a health warning similar to the one on cigarettes. Well, the fact that I own a comfort food restaurant. I think, you know what? Yeah, food is a really touchy thing. It's hard to talk about that one because everybody has their views. I mean, I know you could have a fully healthy diet and that's fine, and then other people don't. I think that food full of maybe chemicals and highly processed foods and foods that are just not, like, they're just poison should be definitely labeled. I mean, like, yeah.
I don't see why not. Like food that's high in sugar.
Like high
really
in sugar and high in like all those added chemicals. Like you look at like cereal. Cereal should have a warning label. I mean, the same stuff that they use to embalm bodies is in cereal. So
No,
like
Honey Nut Cheerios, right?
all of your cereal.
No,
I
no,
mean, so
no.
like literally, you have all these like cleaning agents and stuff that are like they're like commercial grade cleaning agents inside of like cereal that we feed our children. So those things should have definitely warning labels because it's terrible. It's just garbage for you.
I thought it was just like the Fruit Loops. I've heard
Pretty well anything that comes in a package or a box you should probably stay away from.
I've heard that. Oh, geez, I got stunned by that last comment. So I just like I ran down the list of everything in a box. I'm just like in my freezer.
Yep. Those are the things that I think that, like, I think food and high in fat. I mean, I guess it depends on the fats that are in there. It honestly, fat's not the devil. Like, it's not the worst thing.
Okay.
It's really, I think it's a combination of everything. And like, food in general, like, should be done in like, what's the word I'm looking for? Moderation. Life in moderation. So if you're eating a well-balanced diet and once in a while you go out and you grab that A&W Beyond Burger, you're not going to die. You're not going to get sick. But if you're eating that A&W Beyond Burger every single day, you're just not going to feel well. Like, you're not going to be well. I mean, it is a processed burger at the same time. Right?
Okay. I was gonna say someone told me that the sliced cheese that comes in the wrap, Kraft cheese, is like 3 chemicals away from a garbage bag or something like that.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I was just
with
like,
oil.
With oil. So nothing in a box. You see, here's what I find to be a problem for me though, where it comes to like the fruits and legumes and all of that. They go so quickly. The organic ones, they just go so quickly, and I don't eat them fast enough.
So buy them more often, and buy less more often than a big bunch. I mean, really, food should go like that. Like if it doesn't go bad and it sits in your fridge for weeks on end, I'd probably be concerned with what it's doing in your body.
Yeah, no, I found a couple of French fries under my seat, and they look just the same way they did the first day, and I'm just like, isn't that supposed to decompose?
It's like, what was that? There was a movie a few years back.
Super Size Me?
Super Size Me, yeah, where the guy ate just McDonald's every day for a month.
Yeah.
Like every meal, every day. Yeah. He was almost dead, like at the end of it. And like the fact that whole month he had, I think it was a cheeseburger and fries, and he had them sitting out for the whole month he was doing it, and there was not even an ounce of mold. Like mold wouldn't even grow on that food. So imagine what that does inside your body. Like your body wouldn't be able to break that down properly. So.
That's probably why it just passes through so quick.
Right?
Well, can't get a hold of it.
Out you go. Yeah, so it's just, I think that like eating more, like just being mindful. I think people, if they, read labels, know what's in your food. I love when people go, well, I don't eat soy. And I think, but soy is in almost every product out there, like non-vegan products. So it's a filler. That's what they fill. Like there's even like dairy products that have soy in it. So, and there's meat products that have soy in it. So, I mean, if people just sat and learned to read their labels, they would know exactly what they're consuming. I find a lot of people that like to bark about health and food and whatever. I don't eat soy, I don't eat that, and whatever. But they just don't realize that you're consuming so much of it already on a daily basis because they don't even read the labels in the food that they eat.
You blew my mind when you told me Oreos were vegan. That's like I'm still sitting there.
because the filling in Oreos are soy. It's soy. It's soy lectin. Yeah.
That's what it is.
There's no dairy, no nothing in that. It's just soy and sugar.
Wow. For those of you who didn't know.
Not that Oreos are good for you and you shouldn't be eating them on an everyday basis.
I got to start somewhere, okay? Let me have my thing, all right? I'll add some more. I'll add some broccoli along the way. Like, no, okay, so what's the best way to prepare vegetables? Vegetables. I'll ask you about that, because...
I guess it depends on what vegetables you're looking to eat.
Damn it. That was too broad of a question.
It was pretty broad.
It was a broad question. I just meant in general, like, I like to, like, okay, my potatoes I like them mashed, my carrots I like them boiled.
Yeah, it's all preference.
My broccoli I like
who
it
doesn't
steamed.
love mashed potatoes?
Oh my gosh.
Or like a baked potato.
Oh my gosh.
Like loaded with, just like, I loaded up with some vegan butter, some like vegan cheese, sour cream, vegan sour cream.
Yeah, of course.
Load it all up there. Green onions.
Yeah. It sounds good. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've.
You should try your potato skin sometime at the restaurant.
Potato skin. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Challenge accepted. All right. I don't think I've tried your onion rings yet.
Oh yeah, they're pretty popular too.
Yeah.
Everything we do, like all our breaded stuff, we bread literally like per order, so they take a little bit of time, but we
really? So
cut those onions up and we bread them right when you order them. So
wow.
For everything, so that's why things take a little bit of time at the restaurant. Everything is done like pretty well, like when you order. We make everything. We have very little that's pre-prepped.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now I have to ask you, and you don't have to tell me if it's like one of your secrets. What am I dipping my battered mushrooms in?
Oh, our cashew ranch sauce.
Cashew ranch.
Yes, it's a ranch sauce that we make in house, and it's cashew based.
Okay. Because I couldn't I was dipping. I'm just like, I can't quite figure out.
Just so, also, I would like to note that we use very little soy in the restaurant.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are very mindful of it. I'm kind of mindful of it. I mean, mind you, I can eat tofu like a boss. I love it. But we do use very little soy. All our sauces, everything is all soy-free. It's all gluten-free. And we make everything in-house. All of our marinades and sauces are all made in-house.
You're hearing this right now, so if you don't stop by the VHC for I'm gonna say a tasteful experience.
Try our cauliflower wings.
Oh my gosh! I think the first or second time I came there, someone just shoved a plate of food in my face. It might have been Ryan.
Probably, that sounds like Ryan.
It might have been. He's like, "Bro, you gotta try these," and I'm just like.
Was it our cauliflower?
It was the cauliflower, the buffalo
Jill tends
one.
to get our cauliflower.
Yeah, the cauliflower buffalo. And I was like, what is it? He's like, the cauliflower buffalo wings. And I'm like, all right, cool. I don't usually eat off people's plate, but you seem excited as hell. So, like, let me try this right here. And I bit it and it crunched, and I was just like, I like the crunch. And then the kick hit, and I was just like, okay. And I think I ate two of them.
Nice.
Nice. But I'd eaten before I came, but I ate two of them because I was just like, yeah, no, this is a good experience right here. Hold on, and it's healthy, so like it's what I've been trying to do.
It is deep fried cauliflower. I mean, that's just
the cauliflower is the healthy part. As long as it's
definitely better than chicken fingers.
As long as there's vegetable in the title, it's better than like 70% so I'm good.
The cauliflower wings, I think, we're the reason why the stock in cauliflower has gone way up.
Oh man,
we sell so much cauliflower, it's ridiculous.
Like that. Who would have thunk something like that would take off like that?
Well, I think we do well. I mean, we have a lot of, like, of course we have a lot of vegan customers, and we love and appreciate all of our customers. But we do have a lot of non-vegan regular customers that come in, and which I think is just so amazing. And they just come in because they really just enjoy the food.
Mm-hmm.
And they can come in, and there's no pressure to feel like we're forcing veganism down their throat. I like to come at things in a more compassionate manner. I feel like, hey, you walk through the door, you're having a vegan meal right now. I think that is a big win, and I think it's amazing. And if you come back, that's even better. So, and then I try to make food that, that people can eat, that's familiar to them, that tastes familiar, that doesn't taste weird and funny. Like, I know when I went vegan, my husband is now, he's living a plant-based diet, which is so amazing, and I'm so proud of him. But he wasn't always, and I'm 6 years in, and he's, this is just in the last little while that he's taken this turn, and but I had to make, he was very supportive always, right from the beginning, and when I went down this journey, I was like, okay, I no longer want animal products in my home. I like, what you do with your life is what you do. If you want to eat them outside of the house, that's fine, but I really don't want it in the house. And he was like, okay, that's fine. I mean, it's easy for him because I'm a pretty fantastic cook, so he's lucky in that aspect. But
shout outs to Paul.
Thanks, baby. But I wanted to make food that he enjoyed, because I took him to vegan restaurants and he didn't always like them, and he just wasn't always happy. And I was like, well, I wanted him to have food that he could enjoy, and I wanted him to embrace my lifestyle as well as, and be able to enjoy, like, if I'm going to make him food that he's going to like. So I and I'm a foodie. I love food, and I was like, well, just because I'm vegan doesn't mean I don't want to eat, like, good damn food, like,
Yeah, and there's a misconception. Like, a lot of people think that, like, when you're eating vegan, you're eating bland, you're eating tasteless.
I think my cousin said to me once, she's like, I don't know about inviting you over for dinner, because what am I going to feed you, tree bark? And I was like, what?
Oh my goodness, you know what?
Like, it's all good, I'll make my own food.
I wasn't sure. Like, I'm sitting here like, okay, how do I be? Because, like, my family's been hosting stuff for years. Oh my God, like, since I was a kid, I can remember family hosts. So I'm like sitting here like, okay, now what if she gets hungry? I'm like, okay, I got a platter of fruits. I put the platter of fruits on the counter. And the platter of fruits disappeared. I'm like, okay, well, she'll probably eat before she gets here.
Yeah, I'm good. Don't worry.
Oh,
I had a beautiful massage before I came here, so I was like, yeah, food is the last thing on my mind right now.
Yeah, I was at the gym today. Oh my goodness, it's been about 6 months since I've been able to go to the gym.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, I had I had 2 surgeries. Oh my gosh, stupid people. Anyways.
So was it a good experience at the gym?
Oh, it was. Oh my goodness! Everybody was so welcoming. It was so nice.
What gym were you at?
I went to the Y.
Oh, the Y. Okay.
The YMCA. Yeah. I went to play with the Welland Trotters.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they're like a local group that play basketball up there every Wednesday around 10 o'clock, around 11 o'clock now. And yeah, it's just been a while since I've been able to get out and play with them, and I was able to get a basketball game in. Yeah, I realized 6 months off is not, like, I've recovered, but, like, I know I'm going to feel it tomorrow.
Yeah. It's going to take some time. Right?
Yeah.
What is it? No pain, no gain?
No pain, no gain. So, yeah, that's what it is. So, I'm just,
good for you.
Yeah, it was a good time. And then we talked to some of them afterwards, and then had some running around to do. It was a decent day.
Nice.
Yeah.
I worked all day, and then I came here. So.
Oh, wow.
And we had a busy day. I was surprised. I kept thinking, is it Thursday today or Friday? It was a pretty busy lunch. So.
Okay. Well, it's
not
good.
Complaining.
They say it's good for business, right?
Right.
That's right.
So, it was definitely a soup day today. Freezing cold outside.
Oh my gosh! Like, I don't know what. It was just gray, and then it just.
Thailand is looking really good right now.
Turned into you get to go to Thailand. How long till that's going?
We leave on the 26th.
26th. All right. Now, what made you choose why did y'all choose Thailand?
That was it was just a bucket list trip, and my husband and I talked about it a while ago about taking a trip out there, And then I turned 40 this year, and my husband surprised me with a trip to Thailand for my birthday. So, yeah. But of course, my birthday's in August, and nobody wants to go to Thailand when it's hot as balls here. So.
Definitely.
So we're going out now in this month, yeah.
Nice. That's good. I always tell myself, we're the second largest landmass. There's plenty over here to explore before you go anywhere else. But it's just like, I think that's just my ignorance.
I feel like a beach isn't everybody's future. Everybody has to go and be on a beach somewhere exotic, once in a while. Like, we all need that. Everybody is.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my prescription to everybody. Go to a beach. Somewhere tropical. White sand. Warm water.
Family's planning on going to Jamaica for Christmas.
Jamaica.
Oh, my goodness. And I'm just like, all right, I guess I'll go since everybody's going. I was just like...
Oh, my God. Jamaica's the best. I love Jamaica.
Honestly, it's like the last time I went down there, I went to every parish. So I got to go and see every culture, like the cultural diversity and the whole thing. It's almost like, going from here to Toronto kind of thing. And it was just like, I tried everything, like the jerk pork, the jerk chicken, like ackee and sauce.
You know what I loved about Jamaica was they were so great for accommodating my diet. Like those Rastafarians.
Oh my goodness, yeah, man.
Amazing. Rice and beans. Oh my God, I could live on that for the rest of my life.
Yep. And the way they cook it is it's sweet.
Grilled plantain.
Oh my God, I'm starting to drool right now.
Now I want Jamaica.
I'm starting to drool, and like they'll fry them.
Paul, when are we going back to Jamaica?
Oh my goodness. If you ever go to Portland, Jamaica, that's where my dad's side of the family's from.
Nice.
My mom's from St. Anne's. Oh no, St. Mary's.
Nice.
Yeah. So
we went to. I've only been once so far, and it was so far that was the best trip we've ever had. It was my favorite place to visit ever was Jamaica, and we were in Montego Bay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we went down to Rick's Cafe in Negril.
Okay.
Oh my God, the beaches in Negril.
Oh my gosh, the grill
gorgeous.
is.
They're literally when you see those like videos or pictures of Jamaica, that's Negril.
Yep.
Like wow, beautiful. And then we went to Ocho's Rios. We went into Gun River Falls.
I was gonna say, I was gonna ask you that. That was like I remember when I was like a kid on that thing. Like it was. We had this one picture. I must have been like 4, but I swear I was gonna climb that thing. I climbed that sucker. It was so nice. Oh my goodness.
It was beautiful. It was an incredible experience. My experience is a little bit different too because my brother passed away a few years ago, and his always wanted to go to Jamaica, never got there. So I took a portion of his ashes to Jamaica, and I climbed Gun River Falls, and I let him go at the top of the falls. And it was a pretty magical moment for me. And it was.
That's awesome.
So there's a part of my brother there living in Jamaica now, in eternity. So he's,
I'm sure he appreciates it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Man, I'm trying to figure out. Oh my gosh, I have an album that I'm gonna release.
Nice.
On January 23rd. I just have to get the...
Is it going to be on Spotify?
Yes, it's going to be on Spotify. It's going to be on all streaming platforms. It's called Cheshire Black.
Nice.
The idea kind of came from, like, I took a picture, and it was in the dark. But all you could see, it's the stereotype, all you could see was, like, my smile. So, I was like, all right. And then something just said Cheshire Black, and I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea for an album title.
I like it.
So it took me the year to make the album because I was like,
Are you putting that photo on the cover?
Oh no, I'm getting another one done. One more professionally done.
Nice.
Yeah, the same concept though.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's gonna be 10 songs. One of them is like a different mix. One song is like, there's one song on there twice, but it's 2 different mixes. So there's that. It's a little bit of hip hop, a little bit of reggae.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if it was like hip hop, like you guys have done.
Yeah, it's a little bit of hip hop.
You gonna perform some at the VHC?
I would love to.
Nice.
I would definitely love to.
Especially some of that reggae. I want to hear some of that.
Okay, all right.
Some reggae.
Oh man, well, yeah, I have a couple of songs on there that are definitely up to par on the reggae side. So yeah.
Can you hear that, Ryan Lunn? You got to get him out there playing some reggae for us.
Yes, indeed. Just say the word and I'm there. So,
Nice.
yeah, it's my first in the amount of time that I've been working on. I've been engineering for 23 years. 23 years. I've been engineering songs. And this is my first solo album.
Good for you.
So I have released other works, but they always someone's been on them somewhere. So this one was my first solo one. I'm just like, yes, I gotta put something into this. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think I have one. I can actually, I have a copy for you.
Perfect. I'll take it.
I've only released. You'd be the fourth or I think the fifth person to get a copy.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, I feel pretty special.
Yes. So, and as well you are with what you're doing and the Vegan Hippie Chick and like the VHC, like y'all, like it's just an experience you have to have. If you're in the area, you know what I mean, come down and check it out. 91 East Main Street. It's definitely like if you go there on a Thursday, you'll get a dinner and a show. You know what I mean? You can't go wrong with it. Yeah. What else? I'm just looking around. I got this for my brother. I don't want to drink out of it yet because I feel like if I drink out of it,
I like
then I
that.
won't start
Brother, homie, wingman.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I was surprised. He came down for Christmas and it's just like, okay, here. That's what they got. I got that and that. I was just like,
Nice.
you put some real
Those are
thought
pretty
into
great
this.
cards, though. They're
Yeah.
great to like start a conversation.
Definitely.
A little bit better than Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah. Well.
That could be another show for you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. You know what's funny? I shouldn't laugh. The last time someone suggested oh yeah, you should do a talk show. I'm like, okay, cool. I ended up doing like 3 other shows beside that. Daddy Daughter Time, which is secretly one of my favorite shows. Secretly one of my favorite shows. That happens on Mondays. We try to do it for 8 o'clock, but the bus comes early now, so.
This is in the morning?
Yeah. So we're going to have to probably switch the time till the evening. Then I do Candid Conversations on Wednesdays around 6 o'clock or.
Or unless, the guest shows up late like I did.
You're not you know what? You showed up pretty early considering some of the guests. Some guests have showed up like 6:37, just like, yeah.
I felt so bad. It was like.
No, don't.
I wasn't turning down that massage.
No, like I said.
Palazzo, they know what they're doing over there.
Okay. Yeah, check them out. Check them out. Oh,
they're right next door to the VHC.
Oh, wow. Oh, so you get to, that's nice. That's like just walk right next door.
Oh, yeah. Like sometimes it's nice. Sometimes I'm just like, Palazzo.
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't even know how much they go for. When I was getting massages, they were covered, so.
Massages are worth every penny you spend on them.
Indeed.
This one was a gift from my husband, though.
Oh, nice.
I need to utilize it.
Well, you got yourself a good one there.
I know. He's the best. Like, I don't know.
I can't complain. I got a charmer upstairs myself, so.
We're lucky, yeah.
Yes, we are. People who support what we're doing to the effect of, allowing us to develop what's good for us and then still being there and even adapting to what we're doing in order to make it that much better. So, yeah.
Oh, trust me, Paul adapts. The poor guy works full time and then he comes and works at the restaurant a couple nights a week. And he does a lot. So he's definitely adapted.
Nice.
More than he probably needed to, but.
Yeah, I don't even know how many. Like, I remember one time I gave her a song and she was sitting down. I left and I went to do something. I came back and she was still in the same spot. So me and my ignorant self, because I went out and someone pissed me off and I came back inside. I was just like, "You still, like, what are you doing?" She's like, "Sending your songs." I'm like, okay, where have you sent it to? It's like 100 radio stations.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I'm like, I'm going to go back over there and be a jerk to somebody else because you don't deserve it right now. You don't deserve it right now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was like, I don't like some of these, like even these shows, like the lunch show and stuff like that. It's just like, He's like, okay, just go out. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'll go out, and then I bump into somebody who's going somewhere, and then, it's just, things happen. So it's just like the support from your significant others. That does make a difference.
It makes a huge difference, for sure. It really does. And, yeah, I'm pretty blessed, so pretty lucky.
Yes. Okay, we'll do one more question.
All right, sounds good.
All right. It's better to be scared of everything than scared of nothing.
Well, I think there's this level of achievement. If you don't fear something and then conquer it, then what are you learning and achieving at the end of it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think if you don't, it's like taking that leap of faith in something. Like, well, for me, opening the restaurant, that was scary as all hell. Like, I don't know the first thing about running a restaurant. I mean, I know how to run a kitchen. I don't know how to run a restaurant. That was like a huge thing.
Oh, yeah.
And we were given this opportunity to have the restaurant, which is something I had hoped to build on. But it was do or die, and we were terrified. And if I just stuck with what I was comfortable with and not went with my fears, went against them, then the VHC probably wouldn't be a thing. So I feel like there's a certain level of need to have a bit of fear in everything, because that's when you overcome it, you conquer it. If you're not afraid of anything, it's just not important. It's not as not as big a deal. Like, it doesn't matter as much, or
there's a nonchalance to it if you don't have.
Oh, whatever. I just did that. It's no big deal.
Yeah. No, it's like going on a roller coaster. If you don't have the fear of the roller coaster, then you won't have the the what's the word I'm looking for here? Satisfaction of overcoming it.
Yeah, like we went a few years back for my birthday. We went whitewater rafting and for the weekend, and then the day before it was just on the border of Ottawa and Montreal.
Okay.
So Ottawa, Montreal.
Yeah.
And so there was in Montreal, like right across the border in Quebec. I should say Quebec, not Montreal. There was a place to do zip lining, and I have a horrific fear of heights. Terrible. My husband loves it. Like, that man can walk on anything. He doesn't care. He's just like, woo, heights, this is great. And I'm like, no. So we decided to do the zip lining, and I agreed to do it. And I remember going up the first tree, and it was only maybe 8 feet high, and I panicked halfway up. I had like a panic attack, and the group that was with us ended up being our guides for the whitewater rafting. Okay. So we spent the whole day with them, and we did the zip lining, and we became friendly with them, which made our experience whitewater rafting so much better. But they were so encouraging, and as I'm having like this panic attack on this tree, the first tree, but I made it through, and I even went across a 3-cable bridge over this big gorge, and I literally thought I was going to die, and it was, I mean, it's an experience that I can't believe I did it, and I overcame those fears. I would never do it again. Paul, never. We're not doing that again. You're on your own. But I truly, truly, am so thankful that I did do it, and I conquered that moment.
That's amazing. You lost me at 3-cable bridge, though.
Oh, yeah, no, that was the scariest thing of my life.
The one where you had the two in your hands and then the one under your feet.
And you're walking on one, yeah.
No, gee, I don't... 6'3", I don't care. 280, nah. I'll tell you right now, I'm tapping out. You can catch me on the other side. Is there a way for me to no?
No, you can't. But the thing is you kind of have no choice. Like, you have to cross that bridge to finish it. So I got through the whole thing, and it was like, well, you're stuck on the side of this mountain, or you're gonna go across the bridge. And I was like, can't I just climb down somewhere? Can't I go somewhere? I had really no choice, and it was just I had to do it, and. Oh, yeah.
How long was the bridge, roughly?
It wasn't very long. It did feel like it was about 25 miles long, but it wasn't really long. It was really the scariest thing I'd ever done in my life. And But I did it. I'm here today to talk about it.
Yeah,
So,
you survived it all. That's
survived. I was lucky though. The guides, like I said, we had those really great guides, and one stayed with me and was like kind of like attached his thing to me, so that I felt a little more secure that if I fell, at least he's coming with me. but no, it was it was an experience, and I think it was a pretty incredible experience, but it'll never happen again.
Nuns River Falls, climbing that was nice. And then they're like, oh, we're going to go see some divers. I'm like, divers? And they climb up a mountain.
Oh, yeah. Was that at Rick's Cafe?
Yeah, Rick's Cafe. And I'm counting like 7, 6.
When they jump off that like really high, it's not even like a cliff. They go up that pole.
Yeah, what are you doing, bro?
But they jump off like it's nothing. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to go down to that little bottom one down there and climb in. And not even jump.
You know what I mean? Just slide right in. Put my toes in first.
See that one where it's like 2 feet high? Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Catch me down there. Y'all up there, I'm down here.
I'll watch you from down there or just shake my head.
No, sir. Sorry. I don't care. Well, you can call me a punk. You can call me whatever genitalia you want. I ain't going. I ain't going.
I'm with you.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. This has been another episode of Candid Conversations. Wow, time flies.
It really does.
Time flies. And we have been here with the marvelous Mandy Mccullough from the Vegan Hippie Chick, or the VHC.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Stop in and get a bite to eat. I mean, step out of your comfort zone and, you know what I mean, check something out that you might actually like. I think you'll like it. I like it, and I'm pretty particular with... Well, yeah, I'm pretty particular with what I eat.
We're pretty easy about accommodating too. So a lot of people come in and they don't like certain things or whatever. We can manipulate things. I mean, the menu is like everything is made fresh per order. Everything is homemade, fresh. There's nothing that's ripped open out of a package. So we could pretty well change things up and move things around. And
that's good. That's some people are like no substitutions. No, but here you could actually. You know what I mean?
We're pretty good about that, yeah.
All right. That's awesome. Thursdays, Rob Repos is having his singer-songwriter showcase.
After dinner with Rob.
After dinner with
8
Rob.
8 p.m. till 10 p.m.
8 p.m. till 10 p.m.
Singer-songwriters. It's intimate. It's amazing. Some of the best talent in Niagara comes out, for sure.
Yes, indeed. All right. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate it. And, that's another show. Ta-ta for now. All right. There we go.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. That was fun.
Thank you.
I wasn't sure what